I'm joined here by the House Majority Leader Eric Cantor. Quick moment after this conference here on innovation and the economy. And thanks, first of all, for the time. Real quick question about what you just heard from the CEOs and the educators there, the university presidents. There's a big push for basic research, one way to promote innovation in America. But we've got some tight fiscal situations right now here in Washington. Is that something the federal government should be spending money on? Or is that something for the private sector?
Well, one thing that I heard loud and clear from the CEOs, from the public institutions, private institutions of this country, is that we need to look at the uncertainty that Washington is creating as far as the investment environment. R&D is meant for the production, if you will, of basic science research. From that research comes the kind of ideas that we bring to the marketplace, and America does that better than anywhere else. The problem is Washington has gotten in the way. It has become too harmful, the government has, in terms of people wanting to take a risk to innovate. And what I heard is, yes, we want to see a steady stream of research dollars coming out of Washington. Absolutely. But the fiscal situation is such that it makes it even more difficult to demonstrate why that research dollars and that research activity is important. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is get the private sector going so that growth can occur again. You'll see growth feed revenues into Washington, and hopefully by that point, Washington will have gotten its act straight so that we stop spending money on things that are not important and prioritize to areas like research that benefit everyone.
Let's talk about the immediate situation here, the president's jobs plan. Democrats today, you don't like how he pays for his job plan. You don't like everything in it. Turns out Senate Democrats don't like how he pays for it as well. They came up with their own idea today, a surtax on millionaires. Does this have any chance of passing Congress controlled in the House by Republicans?
And here we go again. Continued insistence that somehow Washington needs to raise taxes on job creators right now. That's not what we need. I think most people in America think it's counterintuitive to raise taxes if you want economic growth. I mean, we are in a global economy. It is a competitive world out there. And there are all kinds of places for capital to flow. And we want investment capital here. We want this to be, our country to be the best place to do business and to grow. You don't do that by raising taxes. You don't do that by chasing off investment capital that we need so desperately right now to get going again.
Do you agree that there are any measures within the president's plan? You've talked about some of them being some common ground between you and the president on some of these issues. What's going to pass at the end of the day?
Sure. Well, you know, I've said all along, the president's all-or-nothing approach is just a non-starter. The U.S. Senate demonstrated it yesterday. Harry Reid wouldn't even bring up the president's bill. So for the president to go down to Texas and to demand that I, as majority leader, should bring his bill to the floor, why doesn't he look to his own side? Again, I think that should send the message to the White House that it's time for us to start to get serious. We can do some things together. We're looking to pass free trade agreements next week. I think we're going to get that done finally, and it's taken years to get it done. We passed a patent reform in the last several months. That's something that helps innovation in this country and should serve as a model for how we work together going forward. There's some other issues like regulatory relief that the president talked about, such as the kinds of things that the EPA is doing that is making it very difficult for our manufacturers to stay in business and to grow. We've got another opportunity to work together when it comes to access for capital for small business. Small business is having a tough time right now across the country getting financing. There are some ways that we've got bipartisan bills coming out of our committees to the floor that will help entrepreneurs grow. We can work together on those kind of things. Yes, there's going to be differences here. I don't think anybody thinks that both sides are going to agree on everything. But it's time for us to start having a can-do attitude and to return again this idea of America as a land of opportunity rather than you have to go in and start taxing everyone in order for Washington to benefit. That's not the way we should be doing business.
I know you're tight on time. Final question. Your level of confidence the supercommittee at the end of the day is going to come up with these $1.5 trillion in cuts, and what level of contact are you having with them? What kind of progress are they making?
I think that in the end, we're going to deliver and see them deliver success in Congress, actually accomplish what it is that we should have done months and months ago. The Speaker of the House always said we shouldn't be raising the debt ceiling without commensurate cuts. So that we can begin to do things differently here in this town. I do think the Joint Select Committee at the end will deliver, and we can get on about the business of focusing on how we grow this economy again.
All right. House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, thanks for taking a quick time out to join us here at Bloomberg, and thanks for taking part in our conference here today. Appreciate it very much.